The world has changed dramatically in the 3 months since our last update of the World Economic Outlook in January. A rare disaster, a coronavirus pandemic, has resulted in a tragically large number of human lives being lost. As countries implement necessary quarantines and social distancing practices to contain the pandemic, the world has been put in a great lockdown. The magnitude and speed of collapse in activity that has followed is unlike anything experienced in a lifetime. This is a crisis like no other, and there is substantial uncertainty about its impact on people's life and livelihood. A lot depends on the epidemiology of the virus, the effectiveness of the containment measures, and the development of therapeutics and vaccines, all of which are hard to predict. In addition, many countries now face multiple crises: a health crisis, a financial crisis, and a collapse in commodity prices, which impact in complex ways. Policymakers are providing unprecedented support to households, firms, and financial markets, and while there is a crucial for a strong recovery, there is considerable uncertainty about what the economic landscape will look like when we emerge from this lockdown. Under the assumption that the pandemic and the required containment peaks in the second quarter for most countries in the world and recedes in the second half of this year, in the April World Economic Outlook (IMF) project global growth in 2020 to fall to -3%. This is a downgrade of 6.3 percentage points from January 2020, a major revision over a very short period. This makes the Great Lockdown the worst recession since the Great Depression and far worse than the global financial crisis in 2008. Assuming the pandemic fades in the second half of 2020 and that policy actions taken around the world are effective in preventing widespread firm bankruptcies, extended job losses, and system-wide financial strains, IMF International Monetary Fund project global growth in 2021 to rebound to 5.8%. This recovery in 2021 is only partial as the level of economic activity is projected to remain below the level IMF had projected for 2021 before the virus hit. The cumulative loss of global GDP over 2020 and 2021 from the pandemic crisis could be around $9 trillion, greater than the economies of Japan and Germany combined. This is a truly global crisis as no country is spared. Countries reliant on tourism, travel, hospitality, and entertainment for their growth are experiencing particularly large disruptions. Emerging market and developing countries face additional challenges with unprecedented reversals in capital flows as global risk appetite wanes and currency pressures, while coping with weaker health systems and more limited fiscal space to provide support. Moreover, several economies entered this crisis in a vulnerable state with sluggish growth and high debt level. For the first time since the Great Depression, both advanced economies and emerging market and developing economies are in recession. For this year, growth in advanced economies is projected at -6.1%. Emerging market and developing economies with normal growth level well above advanced economies are also projected to have negative growth rates of -1% in 2020 and -2.2% if you exclude China. Income per capita is projected to shrink for over 170 countries. Both advanced economies and emerging market and developing economies are expected to partially recover in 2021. Flattening the spread of COVID-19 using lockdowns allow health system to cope with the disease, which then permits a resumption of economic activity. In this sense, there is no trade-off between saving lives and saving livelihoods. Countries should continue to spend generously on their health systems, perform widespread testing, and refrain from trade restriction on medical supplies. A global effort must ensure that when therapies and vaccines are developed, both rich and poor nations alike have immediate access. While the economy is shut down, policymakers will need to ensure that people are able to meet their needs and that businesses can pick up once the acute phase of the pandemic pass. The large, timely, and targeted fiscal, monetary, and financial policies already taken by many policymakers, including credit guarantees, liquidity facilities, loans, expanded unemployment insurance, enhanced benefits, and tax relief, have been lifeline to households and businesses. This support should continue throughout the containment phase to minimize persistent scars that could emerge from subdued investment and job losses in this severe downturn. Policymakers must also plan for a recovery. As containment measures come off, policies should shift swiftly to supporting demands, incentivizing fire hirings, and repairing balance sheets in the private and public sector to aim the recovery. Fiscal stimulus that is coordinated across countries with fiscal space will magnify the benefit for all economies. Multilateral cooperation is vital to the health of the global recovery. To support needed spending in developing countries, bilateral creditors and international financial institutions should provide concessional financing, grants, and debt reliefs. The activation and establishment of swap lines between major central banks has helped ease shortage in international liquidity and may need to be expanded to more economies. Collaborative efforts is needed to ensure that the world does not deglobalize, so the recovery is not demanded by further losses to productivity. There are some hopeful signs that this health crisis will end. Countries are succeeding in containing the virus using social distancing practice, testing, and contact tracing, at least for now, and treatments and vaccines may develop sooner than expected. With this said, let's see what is going to happen next. I'm signing off until next time. See you soon.